Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. I hope everybody. Do we have any audio? Thanks. Thanks, Lou. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's time for the noon edition, and it's a little late. Welcome to my world. This is the 8th, March 8th, and this downward move on crude oil has really been something. I hope everybody got some of that or a goodly piece of that. That was about a 95 tick run. Actually, it's about a 100 tick run. And so one of the things, I mean, how would you know this thing was going to fall out of bed like this? The report came in, and it was expected to be just about what it was last time, and it came in. These numbers were unbelievable. The forecast on it was 1.1 million barrels, and the previous one was 1.5 million. But this thing came in at 8.2. And if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, looks like it's still going to go some more. It's going down probably close to the 2 deviation level. I'm surprised it's going this far. This is unbelievable. But anyway, this is a result of this report and such an incredibly high inventory. So very, very exciting morning on crude oil, and it didn't get started until about 11. It took it a while to kind of absorb what it was going to do here, but my goodness, this has been quite a run. If you are still in this thing, I would go to carrying your stop behind an EMA. Boy, there it goes some more. And it's about to hit the bottom of the range box. See what it does here at the 2 deviation. If you have noticed, the time in sales has been it's been telling you to stay in that thing, because it has really been flashing those cells are below the market price. In other words, there's people afraid they're not going to get in, so they're putting in their orders just below there. But when this turns around, it'll take a breath. Anyway, this morning, obviously crude oil has been the big deal. Yep, and exactly to that 2 deviation level. If it goes below there, I have seen crude oil go all the way to the 3 in one run like this, but the probability of that happening is very, very slim. And that's still quite a bit. It's a good distance down there. So it may either give up the ghost here or just take a big breath and then sell off into the close also. The indices were kind of a mixed bag this morning. NQ was definitely much stronger than the others. The dollar kind of fiddled around, and gold kind of fiddled around this morning too. It wasn't doing too much, along with its friend bonds. Bonds haven't done a heck of a lot, but this inventory report coming in so high. The OPEC people they're amazingly, they're serious about cutting this production back. But in the U.S., the rig counts have been steadily coming up, not hugely, But between the U.S. and Canada, about anywhere from 5 or 6, sometimes 7 rigs a week, and you start adding that up over a few weeks, and there's a lot more crude oil coming on production line in the U.S. The Canadian dollar is also following crude oil down. So I don't know if any of you trade that pair, but when on Wednesdays you might want to look at the anything with the Canadian dollar in it that you have on Nadex, because the Canadian dollar will typically follow crude oil. The other thing, Craig makes a really good suggestion in here. If you're in a run like this, Craig or Aaron, they're both just super good, is to keep your trailing stop so it allows for an elevator and it still won't take you out. I find that the best way to do that is on a 6-tick, and so I like to do it that way. They may have a different way of doing it, but anyway, anytime you're trading crude oil and you get one of these 85 or 90 tick runs, you really want to protect your profit, because about that time it generally will give up the ghost. The reason you could see so much reason not to do that today is because this time and sales was just bringing block order after block order after block order in on the sell side. So right now the 6-tick is trying to make a little elevator, but when it's got down here to the 2 deviation, right on the money, amazing. But this is why we use apex indicators. The accuracy is so incredibly right on the money. Nobody's going to tell you this is easy. This is not easy. Anybody that tells you trading is easy is trying to sell you something. This is relatively simple, but it does take an enormous amount of discipline, and the whole purpose of this trading room is having traders who are trying to help all of us as traders get better and better. So every year we really all kind of focus on, okay, you know, we survived that year, so let's take another look. I've got a question in here about how I use this time and sales. I've got the block on my crude oil set for 10, because what you're trying to do here is cut out the little people like us, the little onesies and twosies. I mean, who cares about that? That bunch of stuff is not going to move any market whatsoever. And all it is a bunch of noise and a bunch of stuff. But I set this on my block at 10. On a day like today, probably 15, maybe even 20, because the big traders, they will never put in a crude, I won't say never, because I've seen it happen, but very rarely will they put in an order of like 40 or 50 contracts. Okay, they may be trading 40 or 50 contracts, but they don't put them all in at the same time. So it doesn't go in as one, but they will put in sets of 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 until they've got their money placed. And here it goes again. And if you watch this this 6-tick, it made that little elevator thing. But if you're trailing with either the MVP on that thing or the trend line, the trend flip thingamajig here, whatever that is, then it almost, you're within 1 tick of getting taken out, but you're still with the program here. So also notice that this has put in a real tight little choppy apex. If it puts in another little tight, choppy apex, then that would be a good place to take your profit. But this thing could move on down. But anyway, Renzo, what I use this for is when you get these really fast markets, things are happening so fast, and you're trying to move your take profit out of the way, move it down lower so you can take advantage of this. And what this does is just to glance at this, look at all these coming in. This is below the bid right here. And here's 64 below the bid. That's huge. It's going to go some more. And here there's a 28 and 24 below the bid. 100 below the bid. It's going. This thing is going down. Next stop is likely to be the 3 deviation, because it's got a lot of blue sky below it. The next bottom of the range box here is for the next hour is 5108 right now. Keep in mind that's a dynamic indicator. So if you go over here to the next hour, this is giving you a clue also. The expectation is for it to go down into this area. This is a pretty amazing run in one. It's been at this now for an hour and a half. It's got these big waterfall candles like this. And see this one right here is still flat on the bottom. It shows no sign it wants to retrace. So, Abdul, no, that is not order print. This is like a Model T Ford compared to a Lamborghini when we get the order print. This order print thing is, holy cow, this is going to be so cool, and we're really close. I mean, nobody's going to promise anything on this, but think in terms of maybe a couple of weeks. And yeah, well, so I hear, Lou. So I hear. This is extremely primitive, this time and sales, but it can. Here's 140 at the sell right here, 140 block. That is a lot of contracts, and they're selling those at 51.38. Whoever's selling those is not intending to lose money on them. They could be big enough. They could have, 200 of them spread out above here, and that is also that 100 block right there. That could be the same trader trying to push the market down farther so he can get out at a better price with all of them. You know, he's willing to take 3 ticks on that 100 to get 60 on a bunch of other ones he's got up there. So, now that was a terrible thing to say. How do I know? Have no idea. Whoever the trader may be. But that's pretty exciting, big deal here. Let's see if it's going to quit. But anyway, that's the excitement for today, and that's pretty exciting. Tomorrow, let's see. Now, later today is the 10-year bond auction, and when you see these bond auctions, if you trade those, keep in mind that the majority of the institutional trades have to be into wherever they're putting those trades through by about a little before 3:30. So the last half hour or 45 minutes, if you're trading futures on bonds on auction day, can that can be where the volatility comes in, because it all hits at once right there late in the afternoon. So tomorrow morning we've got Canadian dollar. They need to have some good news to get that thing boosted back up again. And the unemployment claims tomorrow. So unemployment is being watched very carefully. So be careful of 8:30 tomorrow. The revised non-farm productivity this morning got to be a little higher than what they had forecast. So this is exciting times. Yes, Jason, I'll do better. Well, let me see here. Yeah, let me. I'll take a screenshot of the innards so you can. And you know, I don't. You can put however many colors. I think I got this from. I don't know. Maybe I got this from Craig. Some genius figured this out, because it's a lot better than the default. But I'll put one up in a minute. Yeah. Anyway, that's about it this morning. Just be patient and think good thoughts, because this order print is gonna. This is gonna. Oh my goodness, this is getting exciting. All we have to do is figure out how to use it, right? It's like all these. If some of you have, I mean, some of us have been here since Apex was driven across the prairie in the covered wagons, I feel like. But the indicators and the tools that we have are so much more sophisticated than I could ever. I mean, I couldn't even. This is what we have Daryl for. He's the one that thinks this whole thing up. So thanks, Craig. I think I got mine from you. I'm not sure, but I'll put mine in here too, and then people can see. This thing is trying to push on down again, and here the 6 tick is making another E, and the trend R flipped on the 6 tick, so it may very well go down some more. I don't know. See these block orders coming in on the sell side, and see what they're selling. They're selling 28s, 27s. Here's a bunch of 27s. So anyway, it's too early to talk about order print, but is there a place to read about Abdul? In your dreams. There will be. There will be. That if you knew these poor programmers, I'm telling you, oh my goodness, they have been at it literally morning, noon, and all night to get some of this stuff rolled out. And now we're all over John to get the educational modules put together for it. And then after that, we all have to get our eyes and our brains and our hands coordinated and tuned up to take advantage of being able to read them. So anyway, this has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing.